that was just me messing around doing a little impromptu on the keys. And what impromptu is, if you don't know, that's back in the days, all the great classical, so-called great classical pianists, you know, Beethoven, Chopin, all those guys, what they would do is they would call their friends of all the greatest pianists around the country, and they would have parties. And what they would do is they would take turns playing an impromptu piece, which means that, you know, it wasn't premeditated, it wasn't pre-written. They would just play an entire piece on the spot, just make one up. And some of those pieces went on to be great pieces that are, you know, continually played to this day. Started off as an impromptu piece. And so I was always amazed by that when I was in a piano class, and we learned about that you could actually sit and they would play an entire piece, you know, just off the top of their head and make it up as they go along, and it would be so just ridiculously ill. So you know, I always try to practice and learn how to do that. I always was amazed by that ability on the keys. That's just something, a little thing that, you know, a little bit more tidbit as far as the music goes. I know we generally just think of hip hop, R&B, pop, but you know, classical is that's where I first learned even anything on the keys was classical piano. Even though I did grow up going to church or whatever, I didn't never really learn any at that time, you know, gospel keys and stuff like that, R&B keys. I learned, started with classical, so that's why I just had this affinity. Now, anyways, that was just just a quick intro. This video, we're going to dispel the biggest myth in music production success that there is, and I'm sure you've heard it tons of times. I see it repeated over and over and over again by people who just, they don't know themselves, they've heard somebody else say it, and we're going to get into that, and I'm going to dispel that myth and give you the truth. I'm going to reveal you the truth about how to really get money as a music producer, and how to really skyrocket your beat sales and all that stuff, and have success financially as a music producer and get your bread, as opposed to the biggest myth that's out there that I hear repeated over and over again. Now, before I get into that, I just want to address a few things. One, I would be doing more videos. Unfortunately, on my laptop, for some reason, I can't get the video and the audio on my webcam thing, 'cause that makes it a lot easier, as opposed to, you know, setting up a camera and everything. I can just use my web camera on my computer, just talking there. And I'm actually recorded a lot of videos on YouTube. I did the straight to YouTube thing where you could just record it from your webcam onto YouTube. I mean, I thought it was a great tool so I can get this information out to you. With, you know, me having a busy schedule, I can still, you know, hit record real quick, talk for about 20 minutes, you know, on my way out in the morning or on my downtime, just so I can give you some of the information that you've been seeking from me. But unfortunately, technical difficulties, I can't seem to get it to work right. I'm probably going to get a new laptop. And as well, I recorded a lot of videos on YouTube like that, and they just kept getting deleted for some reason when they would process or whatever. I don't know. It just somehow YouTube would find a way to mess it up to where the video would not be recorded. And I mean, after I recorded it though, I would record a 30-minute video, and then YouTube would just find a way to screw it up. So either the browser would crash or something foolish. So that's out the window. So when we get all that back going and I get it going the way I need to go, I'll have a lot more videos posted up. Again, deleted a whole lot of stuff. I mean, some good stuff too. But that's alright, and you know, they ain't gonna stop our roll. We ain't gonna make no excuses. We're gonna just get to it. Now, another thing I want to address, because I have to address a few things, because again, I couldn't, all the other videos got deleted, so I have to address a few things in one video that I would have addressed in other videos. Now, just for the community wise, you know, I get certain comments about you know, haters and all that kind of stuff. I mean, what do you do about haters? And usually I generally leave these type of questions alone, because I mean, they're not really going to move us forward. Sometimes, in my opinion, as far as, you know, we need to focus on how we're going to sell these beats, how we're going to build our business, how we change our mindset to be successful. But I think this is a growing concern, and something I went through, and I'm feeling like a lot of the producers in the community are going through this because of the frequency in which I receive this type of question. So I'll address it now, so that way you can move on, you know, and get past it if you have this issue. And it's how do you deal with haters and people who aren't motivated around you and all that kind of stuff. So again, one, it's not an easy thing. It's a process. It's not an easy thing. You know, some people say, well, just don't care what people think, and, you know, just don't worry about them, just do your thing. You know, that's a lot of good, sound good, rah-rah talk, but in the real world, from my experience, it's not as easy. It hurts when someone, shits on you, and when you're really passionate about something and then you're being told you can't do it and do something else. My thing is just a daily process of really becoming stronger in who you are and becoming stronger in what you're here to do and your purpose, and that comes with deeper understanding of what it is you do. So let's say you're a music producer. So you have to start going deeper and deeper into what music production is, what it isn't, what's the purpose of it, why is it really necessary for music to be on the planet, how is it moving and evolving the world forward, how is it creating peace on the planet. Like, really start to understand, and once you start to get deeper into your craft, then you become strong in it. You become rooted to where people's opinions can't move you, because you're so strong on what, in standing and understanding what you know and what you're here to do. Yeah, people's words and stuff can't really move you. Now, every now and again, you'll get somebody that's just a hater who just say something real mean and nasty. Sometimes you get mad. That's just gonna happen. That comes with the territory of people getting jealous and stuff like that. I mean, that's just part of human experience. We're not gonna get around that, so we might as well stop running from it, accept it, and it gets easier with time. You just start to ignore that stuff. You see a nasty comment, you just delete it. But I do want to address as well, there's been some comments and people who really don't understand what the community is about, what Live Off Beats is about, what I'm teaching. And so you get people who try to dissuade you from the information. I want to just clarify what it is that we do here as a community, what it is you're doing by selling and leasing your beats for $25, $50, $100 and selling exclusives for cheaper than $10,000, And people can't, a lot of, older producers can't understand our industry execs. They're like, you shouldn't be leasing beats for $25 and all kind of just foolishness. Now I'm going to give you a way to really understand what you're doing and the opportunities that's in front of you and why you're leasing beats for $25 and stuff like that. Because what's this going to do is allow you to really get a bird's eye view of what you're doing. So then you can clearly see and be able to explain to other people as well, to understand yourself what you're doing with this. So that way when you have maybe your parents or friends or family members or somebody asking you, what are you doing? You got some beats on the internet selling them. What is it? What about your future? Those type of questions, you'll be able to quickly answer it, move on. Like, look, here's what it is, this is what it isn't. Now, you can roll with it or you can not roll or get rolled on. That's the mentality we're trying to reinforce with what I'm teaching right in this video. So, I want you to look at the music production business as almost, in the music industry, period, as a pyramid, okay? Now, not a pyramid scheme, but a pyramid. So you have a pyramid, right? Now, the nature, look, I'm throwing the rock sign up. And I'm not Illuminati. They're going to be saying I'm Illuminati soon when they're going to be chopping this video up. You know how the hip-hop community is. They just don't do any research. But, so let's imagine you have a pyramid here. Now, the nature of a pyramid is that at the top, you have less people that can be at the top and more people as you go towards the bottom. You have more people at the bottom. Now, this is the way every industry is designed. This is the way life is designed, actually, but we're not going to get that deep into it. It's not a bad thing. It's a evolutionary growth development thing. Now, in the music industry, let's say you have some top artists. You have like Jay-Z, Rihanna, 50 Cent, somewhat. Who else is the top artist? Beyonce. Who's the top artist in hip-hop? It's hard to say because ain't nobody really selling hip-hop nowadays, but maybe like a Young Jeezy or a... I don't know who's big nowadays. I mean, it's hard. Like I said, it's hard for me to say because nobody's selling The Game and Lil Wayne and Drake and Nicki Minaj and Money Camp. Now you have these guys at the top. That's the top of the pyramid, right? So what happens is naturally the top of the pyramid makes the most money. So that top percent of the pyramid, it's not a bad thing. This is, like I said, it's just a natural law of the way the universe is ordered. So you have the top; they make the most money per se. Or generate the most money as far as in the music industry. Now, you as a producer, okay, you want to sell your music obviously to these people because they're going to have the most money to spend and give you for one beat. Now, here's the problem with that. There's so many producers down here, there's only a few artists at the top, right? So you have hundreds of thousands of producers, if not millions of producers worldwide, who obviously are not going to be able to get placements on these albums. every producer that's up and coming ain't gonna be able to get a track on Jay-Z. So the way that you have been taught, and I talked about it before in an earlier video a little bit, is that you starve to death on your way up to the pyramid, and hopefully you make it to the top where you become a Timberland or Just Blaze and whatnot. Now that's a bad model to follow, because that's going to mean you're going to struggle and survive and try to struggle and all that kind of stuff, all while you're making this music, just so hopefully you can make your big break and make millions of dollars, which, not that it can't happen, but it can't happen for everybody. So what I have discovered is there's a better way of thinking about it, a better model. Now here's the model that I'm going to show you that you're participating in. Okay, I may not be selling a beat to Jay-Z. I may not sell a beat to Rihanna. Okay? But it doesn't matter, because there are artists who as well are up and coming and developing, who have smaller fan bases, and there are millions of artists all around the world, and you connect with them now with the internet, who are in the middle of this pyramid, right? So they haven't reached the Rihanna status, but they're underneath that. They have their fan base. Now these people, these artists need beats as well. Does that make any sense? They need beats. They're music artists who have to develop, who have to record their music, build their fan base. So they need beats. Now, do you think that an up-and-coming artist who has an okay fan base, who's promoting themselves, doing generally okay, selling a few thousand copies of their album every month, do you think that they can go to Timberland and Neptunes and Swiss Beats and have them get production on their album? Of course not. I mean, they don't have that type of budget. So, but they still need to record music. So what do? They say, okay, well, I have a budget that I can lease a couple beats for 25 bucks a pop, 30, 40, 50 bucks a pop, or 100 bucks a pop, and I can buy some exclusive beats for 500 to 1,000 bucks. Right? I have that in my budget because I can recoup that when I sell my album. So what you're doing is, instead of selling one beat to a Jay-Z for $50,000, you're going to sell a lot of these other, because there's a lot more artists down here who can afford $500 a beat. You're going to sell 100 beats for $500 to these artists here at the bottom in the middle of the pyramid. Now, why does that make more sense? Because there's a lot more artists and a lot more producers in that pool. So now you can make a lot of money by, you're going to have to sell more. You're going to have to sell more quantity. But you can still make a good money while you're developing and getting better and progressing, right? And you're helping the world. Those artists need beats. How stupid would it be? Now this is for people who oppose what I'm saying. How stupid would it be if the only cars available were Maybachs and Bentleys? I'm going to show you how ignorant anyone who opposes what you're doing is. I'm going to expose you so that way you never have to worry about these chumps anymore. Now, how stupid would it be if only cars available on the market were Maybachs and Bentleys? Now that means that there's only a few people who can have cars to get around, right? So by nature, we need cars that are more affordable for the common person, right? Like a Honda. So Honda is necessary because, hey, I need a car, you need a car, your neighbor needs a car so they can do what they do, so they can get to work, so they can travel, right? So they can live life and experience life. So that's where Honda comes in and says, hey, we're not going to make $500,000 a car, but if we can sell 500,000 cars or 50 million cars and make just as much or more than selling 10 or 15 Maybachs is going to sell. So that's essentially the same thing, right? The artist, you're saying, okay, yeah, I'm not going to sell this beat $50,000 to Jay-Z, but I'm going to sell it to K-Bo over here, who can pay me 500 bucks for it or lease it for 50 bucks, and I'm going to take that, but there's a whole bigger market there. So I'm going to have to mass sell it and have a system, a business system, which is, it sounds complicated, but it's easy with the internet. You know, just have your website with an automated beat site that people can come and buy your beats. And you're going to sell a lot more of that. So that's what you're doing. You're saying, okay, yeah, I'm not at the top of the pyramid yet. And even if I was, I still have cheaper beats that the masses can buy. Just like, not Mercedes, just like Ford, who may have the Jaguar but also have a Focus, right? So now they reach the whole spectrum of the market, so they want to get money at all spectrums. Just like a lot of companies there's only a few car companies that make high-end and low-end cars, but they're one company because they're smart They're saying, okay, I'm gonna get the top of the pyramid, I'm gonna get the bottom of the pyramid. So everybody can have a chance to experience life. So that's what you're doing. It's actually a great service to artists in the music industry, and as well to the world, for you to be leasing your beats at this price, for make it affordable for those who are not the top of the pyramid yet. So that's what I'm trying to say, is that you're doing a very noble thing. And so I see the people contesting you and saying, you know, why are you doing that and you shouldn't do that and all this kind of nonsense. Again, those are people who talk a lot but don't produce any results for themselves or for anyone else. Now, if people challenge me all the time, and my reply to that challenge, like, I don't really put negativity, I don't really argue, because I say the same thing. I say it's easy to talk shit, excuse my language, for you under 18-year-olds. It's easy to talk shit about somebody else who's doing something, but show me what you've done. Instead of talk, show me your walk. Now, I can show you where I got thousands and thousands of testimonials, emails, Facebook messages, Twitter messages. In fact, I get them every day for the last 5 years on how this information that I put out has changed lives. See, because other people aren't connected. They haven't really done anything that's connected with the people. See, I'm in the community with you guys, so I see the changes. I've seen producers go from living with their parents and not knowing what they were going to do and thinking about, you know, that they're not going to be able to live their life of their dreams, to go from that to making all kinds of money on the internet, selling their music, and waking up being able to make their beats and travel. I've seen it over and over and over again. I've had emails from guys who were on the verge of suicide because it's that deep. You know, life sucks if you're not going to do what you love to do. And so they were depressed, and then they got my information, and total change in their life. From all the different products I put out to the free information, even the free information has changed so many people's lives. So anyone can knock what I'm doing and what we're doing here at Live Off Beats in the community, but then tell them to show you their results. What have they done to change anybody's life, and how many lives have they really touched? Most likely it's going to be none, because they're just a bunch of talkers. So again, I talk this information because I know how valuable it is to you. And it's not just my information. I just learned it and I'm sharing it with you. So that way you can grow and progress and share it with other people. I mean, we all live on one planet. Okay? So I had to get that out the way because, like I said, I've done a lot of other videos, but since they didn't make the cut, I had to kind of mush together a few things that the community, you guys have been asking about, and put it in one video, so to speak. Now, we're going to get to my point. The biggest myth in music production and music production success, and this is a success killer. There's some things that lead to success, and there's some things that could lead to success, and there are certain things that will kill your success. Okay, and this will kill your success. This is the idea. It's a bad idea. I've heard it 100 times. You've heard it 100 times, and now we're going to get rid of that idea and replace it with the proper idea that leads to success. Now, the idea is, if you just work on your craft and make beats and get better at making beats, that you'll get so hot, and your beats will be so hot, as long as you make hot beats, that success and money will just follow that. I'm sure you heard it. Just keep working on your craft, make beats, man. Somebody's going to take notice, man. You're going to blow up. Right? I see it on YouTube. I see people commenting that, oh, man, just make hot beats, and you'll somehow make it if you just keep doing that. Now, that's the worst advice that you could get or give to anybody. It's ignorant advice. It's a success killer. Why is that? Okay, it's based under a lot of flawed premises. And here's the first flawed premise it's based upon. That you can, just because you have a good product, okay, which beats are a product, that people are going to find it just because it's good, right? So let me put that in terms you understand. You can have the hottest 100 beats better than any producer in the world sitting on your hard drive, okay? And it's not going to do any good. They're not going to make any money. They're just going to sit there. And then 20 years later, you can still have the hottest beats, and you still didn't make it anywhere. Okay, can you envision that? And there's people, producers, and me being in the community, I've seen this over and over and over again. Now, how do you remove this crazy programming? Easy. You understand the reality of the situation. Yes, you want to make sure you have hot beats. That comes with just making beats every day. That's not a rocket science thing. Making hot beats is not rocket science. It's practice. If you just make beats every day, if you make beats every day, eventually you'd be making hot beats, period. There's just no way around that. So that's not what do you call it? That's not a deep concept. Oh, make hot beats. Anyone can make hot beats. If you just made them every day, just by the nature of you practicing every day, you're going to get better and better and better and better until you're hot. So that's retarded. The reality of the situation is this. You better know how to market and promote those beats if you want success. Now that's the truth. You got to know how to market and promote. Now, am I any way saying that it's okay to just have weak ass beats? No. But having hot beats are a given. That's retarded. You'd have to be retarded to become a producer, and your goal is to make weak ass beats and to not eventually get hot. That's retarded, right? You would be a retarded individual if you came into music production as a producer and your goal was not to eventually make hot beats. So that's a given. We know this already. We know artists want hot beats. We know this. I mean, that's not, you don't have to tell anybody that. That's a given. What's not a given is that you better know how to market and promote yourself as well as your music and create a brand so that way people will know and trust you and buy from you over and over again. Now that is something that you're not told, that's not a given, and you better understand that or you ain't going to make it nowhere in any field, let alone in music production. But again, who's teaching this stuff? Who's giving you this information? Well, you didn't learn in school, so where are you going to learn it? You're going to learn from Debunking.com. Where did I get it from? I learned it from my mentors who taught it to me in my research and my going out and doing it from experience. So now I'm bringing it to you. So marketing and promoting is the biggest thing you can do. Now, again, I'm not saying that you don't need to have banging beats. But again, that's a given. That's not rocket science. Make beats every day. But marketing and promoting yourself and your beats, that's a skill that you don't get just from doing it over and over again. That's not something you just automatically do, right? You have to learn how to properly market and properly promote yourself and your beats, and that way you can sell your beats and build a brand. It ain't even about the hottest beats. In fact, one of the top sellers that I know on the internet, to me, the beats are mediocre. I know guys with way more banging beats but ain't selling shit. I'm just being real. Excuse my language again. If you're under 18, I'm trying to clean up my image a little bit, so I'm trying to use less cuss words to communicate with you guys. Now, lost my train of thought. Now I'm back. Okay, so you can have the hottest beats, and it ain't gonna mean a thing if you ain't marketing and promoting them properly. And you obviously have already. My guess is you've already experienced that. You probably have tons of hot beats, and now you're trying to sell them. And that idea that if you just make hot beats and make hot beats and make hot beats, that finally one day you're going to break through. That's a bad idea. It's a bad premise. It's terrible. Get it out of your mind. You've already proven to yourself it doesn't work. A lot of other producers have proven that does not work. Okay? Marketing and promoting. Now we have the internet, which has made marketing and promoting a gold mine, because now you can do it for practically nothing, and now you can reach the entire planet. I mean, from your living room, from your laptop, from a Starbucks, from anywhere. So, again, the older generation can't even wrap their head around that. So if you're talking to your parents or older generation people, they can't even wrap their heads around it for the most part. So you can't really come to them with this type of information. But the young, you are the ones that are bringing this new way of producing and selling your music to the forefront. And like I said, we've only scratched the surface. $20,000 in a month is nothing compared to what's out there for an up-and-coming producer selling their music on the internet. I mean, it's wide open. You have millions of artists all over the world online, in all types of countries, from Japan, from Europe, from America, from Africa, we sold beats to somebody in Palestine. What was it, Palestine? Yeah. So, I mean, this is a brand new, unheard of time we live in. But here's also what's happened to you. You've been so focused on one little industry that they call the music industry, because that's all you had access to, because there was no internet before, and the only thing you knew about what was on the radio was being played on TV. And what happened was they had a monopoly on what you were receiving, on the information you're receiving, because only the select few major labels were able to put and distribute their propaganda and their music through these channels, and you had no other way of receiving. There was tons of up-and-coming artists out there all over the world, but you didn't have access to see those people. because you only shown the same 5 to 10 artists and heard the same 10 songs all the time, because that's all you had access to. So you see them as the music. They call it the music industry. There's tons. There's infinite amount of music industries. You know, artists who are independent is a music industry. It's not just that industry with a couple of artists who have a lot of promo because of labels, right? A couple of Jay-Z's, and not to say there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying they built a nice little base. They built a nice little marketing structure, a nice little monopoly. Let's call it what it is, a monopoly. You know, they built that, and I'm not mad at it. But I'm saying you're so focused on trying to break into that, and I'm saying like, man, you're missing all this wide opportunity. It's like there's a land, a big land, and there's 100,000 houses that are 5,000 square foot each, and then there's one mansion that's about 50,000 square foot, and it's already jam packed with people, and you're trying to break into there. You're trying to break into that one house, and it's like all these houses all over for miles and miles. These 5,000 square foot houses that you can go right into and live in. But instead of trying to go there, you keep trying to break into this one house because it's big, because they built a pretty big house. But you can have your own house over here that's sitting fine, and you have to get out of your mentality that you want to go with this one little industry. Not to say you don't sell to that industry. Yeah, if they really give you some money for your music and buy your product, which is your beats, hell, you sell it to them and get your money. But what I'm saying, that's not the only option out there. And so, that's why some of the people in the industry, they get mad at me. Because I'm releasing your mind from their stronghold, which is making you believe that if you are not a part of what they're doing, you can't make it and you won't be successful and you'll be nobody. And so that is the way they mind control you. And now you feel like if you're not a part of what they're doing, then you have to be anything. And I'm saying that's total crock. And if you listen to the models I'm giving you, you can see that you have a higher percentage of chance of success if you go outside of that. And even if you'll have a higher chance of getting into that industry if you build a base of clients outside that industry and build a name and a brand. They'll be coming to you as opposed to you keep begging them. And see, that's the main thing too as well, is this stuff, what I teach you, it attracts, as opposed to you going out and have to beg. You're going to get the labels, you're going to get the major artists coming to you like, hey man, this producer right here has a buzz on the internet. Hey man, he's out here, people are liking his music. I need to get with him so that way the people who love his music will love my music. But see, that's when you understand marketing and business. Understand this is a music business, and that's how they think. It ain't nothing personal about it. It's just like, hey, this dude is hot right now. He's on the internet killing it. Everybody knows who he is. I would be dumb for not to come and get a beat from this dude, because that's going to make me as an artist build my popularity. No matter how popular I am as an artist, I'm always looking to expand my fan base. Like I said, when you understand marketing and business, you understand that's just how it works. So why wouldn't you be building your brand online? Now, so hopefully we dispelled the biggest myth, which is that if you just make hot beats over and over again, you eventually, somebody discover you and you'll make it big and you'll be successful and all that type of crap that it just doesn't work. Anyone who's ever really, done anything will tell you that's not a good formula. It's a bad formula. Get it out of your mind. You have to learn how to market and promote your hot beats, your hot products, and that's where all the success and all the money and all that stuff comes from. Again, if you don't have the Blitz Beats interview, I'm going to plug it right now because I'm getting so much feedback that Blitz Beats interview has changed the way that a lot of producers even understand what traffic is. So if you're having a problem with getting artists to your beat sites and to buy your beats, if you're stuck somewhere and you're saying, okay, I'm not getting enough traffic, how do I get traffic? How do I get artists on my beats? How can I increase my traffic? How can I increase my money? Then the Blitz Beats interview you need to get now. I've seen him come from nowhere to the top of SoundClick. He knows how to promote. You know what I mean? Number one on SoundClick. In fact, I saved the screenshot just to show you. He's number one on SoundClick. He's always up there. He has his own beat site. I mean, his SEO game, everything, and he gives so much game in his audio. I mean, it's so stupid. Like, I couldn't even believe he gave all these secrets out. I was like, man, that's crazy. I would have thought he would have held some of this stuff back, but he didn't. He actually gave up a lot of his secrets of how he got to the top, how he's getting all this money, traveling, making 4 to 5 figures every month. I mean, this is what he gave up in this Blitz Beats interview. And you get it for practically nothing. In fact, it's priceless to me. It should be $2,000 because that interview alone can triple, double, turbocharge, skyrocket, all those type of words, your beat sales. Because, I mean, it's just reality. He did it. He showed and told you exactly how to do it. So if you don't have that, I mean, you can't even take you shouldn't even be taking yourself serious. If you ain't got the Blitz Beats interview, you shouldn't even be taking yourself serious. Let alone me take you serious, or anybody else take you serious. You can't even take yourself serious. Not in a negative way, but I mean, come on, someone giving this type of information, I don't care how many beat sales you got. If someone is telling you, and I know you don't know everything that he because I didn't even know half the stuff he was saying on how to get traffic. I was learning, and I'm his teacher, and he was teaching me. Because he found so many new innovative ways that a lot of that stuff is free too. Not even like, it doesn't cost a whole bunch of money. It doesn't like you have to have a $5,000 budget to start getting traffic. I mean, he was giving a lot of free ways and real cheap ways to get a whole lot of traffic, which equals a whole lot of beat sales, which equals a whole lot of money. So, if you're not getting traffic, you're not getting any beat sales, and you ain't getting no money. I can tell you that right now. So if you ain't got that Blitz Beats interview, you need to get it right now. It ain't going to be available forever. So you need to go ahead and get that right now. Get that Blitz Beats interview. And then I want you to apply the stuff and watch how your traffic and then your beat sales and then your money is going to multiply. And go ahead and put a comment on this same video a week from now after you implement that stuff and watch and see if I was lying to you. See if you can learn some stuff in there that is going to really make a difference in your beat site and your beat sales. All right, till next time, I'll catch you, Postman. I'm out.